Hi everyone. So, everyone knows what has happened in New Zealand last Friday, and I didn't want to hop on and do like a breaking news type of video. I actually needed a couple of days to digest this and think about what I wanted to put out there. I just didn't want to do it off the cuff. Part of that reason is because I am part Maori. My dad is a New Zealand citizen. So I have links to the Ngāti Ranginui tribe in Coromandel coast area. And so this kind of hit home a little bit more, I guess. I wanted to first say that I'm not going to say this person's name. I am not going to give him any airtime or footage or read his manifesto out or anything like that, because to me that's not the story, and I refuse to perpetrate hate. That's the only way you can put it into one word, is hatred. So I was on the Friday, I think, Denver 7 had come up live and it was Trump, so I turned it on and I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. I do want to play a couple of those clips for you, because even though Trump has said that, the US is there for New Zealand for whatever they need, etc., it then turned around into this.
As we take action to restore our national sovereignty and defend this nation from criminal cartels, human traffickers, and drug smugglers, crime of all kinds coming through our southern border. We're on track for 1 million illegal aliens to rush our borders. People hate the word invasion, but that's what it is.
And this was a response from Trump in regards to the number of white nationalists in the US, and everywhere for that matter.
Do you see today white nationalism as a rising threat around the world?
I don't really. I think it's a small group of people that have very, very serious problems. I guess if you look at what happened in New Zealand, perhaps that's a case. I don't know enough about it yet. They're just learning about the person and the people involved.
So it just really disgusted me that he turned it into an immigration and border patrol, kind of thing, rather than concentrating on these people who have legally immigrated here and, are fleeing war-torn countries. And I don't think that is something that he understands. So when he had said this, I started looking up some of the research and the statistics, and so data released earlier this month by the Anti-Defamation League shows white supremacist propaganda efforts increased 182% last year, with 1,187 distributions across the US in 2018, up from 421 total incidents reported in 2017. So as far as the handful of people, the extremists, that's the Muslims. These are not the people that are creating this hatred and inciting violence. The number of racist rallies and demonstrations also rose last year. The ADL data released in February shows at least 91 white supremacist rallies or other public events attended by white supremacists were held in 2018, up from 76 the previous year. Right-wing extremists were linked to at least 50 murders last year, a 35% increase over 2017. The number of hate groups operating across the US rose to a record high of 1,020 last year. In stark contrast, the only appropriate response did come from the New Zealand Prime Minister. And I just can't understand why this approach is not coming out of Trump's mouth.
I want to speak specifically about the firearms used in this terrorist act. I'm advised that there were 5 guns used by the primary perpetrator. There were 2 semi-automatic weapons and 2 shotguns. The offender was in possession of a gun license. I'm advised that this was acquired in November of 2017. A lever-action firearm was also found. While work is being done as to the chain of events that led to both the holding of this gun license and the possession of these weapons, I can tell you one thing right now. Our gun laws will...
Because people are passing on information about everything about this guy and his manifesto and things like that, it just creates that snowball effect, butterfly effect, you could say, because on the Saturday, the day after, this Brisbane mosque had its gates rammed by a 23-year-old Browns Plains man. He'd been stopped at 2:20 on Saturday for a side drug test, which tested positive, and he was issued with a 24-hour driver's license suspension notice and a notice to appear for drug driving. So he was released from police custody, he returned to his car and drove to the Batul Masrur Mosque on Neville Road. So apologies if I butchered that, I didn't mean to. And yeah, he drove into the closed gates and he was charged with willful damage, committing public nuisance, driving a motor vehicle while suspended. This is just that snowball effect of what happens when you share this information. This guy, an 18-year-old whose name's been suppressed, was charged in a New Zealand court distributing the live stream video that the perpetrator put up, and was also charged with publishing a photograph of the mosque with the message "target acquired" and for inciting violence. He faces a maximum of 14 years in prison for each charge. Judge did not grant him bail and he is due back in court on April 8th. So this is what happens if people are going to keep trying to, put this stuff out there. And good on the courts for cracking down on this. So, thinking about how I wanted this story to come out, the story is not him. It will never be him. He'll be forgotten. He'll be rotting. It's about the heroes, really. And I want them to be never forgotten. I think there has to be so much courage for the 2 unarmed police officers who took him down and used his own weapons against him. That was, to me, is very heroic, and this is the footage. as I've said, this story is not about that horrible human being. It needs to be about the victims and maintaining their memory. So on the left, to me, this man is the ultimate hero. His name was Naeem Rashid, and he moved from Abbottabad to New Zealand to work as a teacher. He was at the Al Noor Mosque in Christchurch with his 21-year-old son, Tyler Naeem, and both of them passed away in the mass shooting. Rashid launched himself at the gunman in an effort to stop him. Apparently it was on the video, which I'm not watching, and I would not suggest no one else go looking for it either. And Rashid's wife, Ambreen, called her husband a hero, and I think the rest of the world would be too. So they had three sons. Two of them were not at the mosque at the time of the attack. So this is, absolutely the symbol of heroism to me, and I will do another piece when I'm not feeling so drained, but it will be about each and every one of these people who lost their lives, because that memory needs to be cherished and protected, and that is what should be put out there, not this incitement of hate. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, bell if you enjoy my videos, or they make you feel better for the day. That would be nice. And I hope to see you guys on a live soon when I'm feeling a little bit better.